shit. But with that, we're going to start with our first topic of the episode, which is what is going on with Kanye. And so before we begin with this, I kind of want to say my piece a little bit. I don't say this to demean him, but he has major mental health issues. That's not me saying he is retarded or anything like that. That's not what I'm trying to say. But he's been known to have bipolar disorder. And for people who don't really know, like the depiction on TV of bipolar disorder is actually off base quite a bit. Like the most real depiction you get of bipolar disorder is like, oh, I'm happy, now I'm sad, like that's true to a certain extent, but it's not really what that aims at. Like, what really bipolar disorder is called manic depression. So basically, people go into states of mania. The mania can either be good or bad, right? It could either be like, oh, I'm king of the world, or oh, I fucking see demons everywhere. Like those are two extremes that I can kind of put out there. And so the thing is, like, what's alarming to me about the Kanye perspective is like, if you look back, right, 2016 when Trump got elected, he was saying, "Oh, I'm going to run for president," right? And then like this election cycle goes around, not a hint, not a word, nothing. And then like now that we're at the very end, he says, "Oh, he wants to run for president again," and now he's like campaigning when he's too late. What's alarming to me about it is like either he's off his medications or he's just having a bad week. And the pattern that I'm seeing is like his idea like of becoming the president, I think, is like his own self like fulfillment of like the good part of mania, where he thinks like he's the king of the world, God, whatever you want to say, right? And so like then you look at his tweets, which I'm not even gonna get into verbatim, but you look at his tweets and they make no like chronological sense. And so, what I see, and I'm not even trying to make fun of the man, is that I just see somebody who like his head is not in the right place. Like it's so disjointed, it's so out there that I'm just not sure. Like, and the thing is, like, a mania can come from not even having bipolar disorder. You can get it from smoking too much weed. You can get it from other drugs. And the thing is that I want to point out, like, the best depiction of mania I've ever seen is actually on Narcos Mexico. There's a certain character who, like, he's the guy who, like, basically created the new strain of marijuana, but then they start selling cocaine and he gets addicted to cocaine, but then he's like, I'm going to stop. And one of the withdrawal symptoms of cocaine is mania. So he literally goes crazy and sees stuff that's not there. Granted, drug-induced mania is a little bit different than having just bipolar disorder, but they're basically similar. Just one of them is a bit more hallucinative, if that makes sense. But anyways, I'm gonna leave it up to y'all. Like, what are your opinions on Kanye? What do you think is going on? Like, what insights do you see, or like, should we be concerned?
Well, this is one thing which I'm genuinely concerned about because the thing is, this seems resonant of what's been happening. I mean, if you all have read President Trump's earlier tweets, like before he became president, it's like these are the tweets of somebody who's genuinely delirious, like another person who I think has mental issues. He's either because I think he could also because of the fact that he's over 60, right? President Trump.
Yeah.
So yeah, so he's like, it's like my dad mentioned this to me.
70.
Yeah, he's 70 exactly. So I mean, these could be the signs of somebody like who's going senile or rather asinine because of old age. So
Yeah, like dementia.
like dementia exactly. So thanks, Benny. That was actually I couldn't remember that term.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, and this is not to point fingers on either side. Like, for perspective, I'm like more of a libertarian now than that I used to be. So I'm kind of more just like hands off government, but like socially, I'd say like don't hate on gay people, that kind of stuff, right? But I mean, like, I don't personally think Trump has dementia. I just think that like he's so used to getting his way that he realizes like he doesn't really have to cover his tracks anymore. Like it's like I could literally say anything and be done. Who
And
I'm
I get
concerned
away
about
with
is
it.
Biden, because like
Oof.
Biden like mid sentence forgets what he's saying, and you could chalk it off. Well, he's an old man, but like it's complete like mid sentence. Like if I could be talking to you like, hey, I love physics, and then they're like, where am I? Like I'm not making fun of him, but Like, like that's the thing that's concerning.
Yeah. So yeah, so back to the thing. So I mean, yeah, like
You broke up a little bit of Moog.
Moog, you alive?
Yeah, now you're good. You're good.
Yeah, everything good. Okay. I just want to have like this one expression of me, like, so it's like if it freezes, you guys can just take a screenshot and be like, oh, he's trapped.
Oh, let's all
That's
do
pretty
that.
much how I feel.
Yeah, I'm just gonna Photoshop.
That's yeah. I think that's how I feel in Kuwait. That's how I feel in Kuwait.
Okay.
So
Yeah, it's a desert.
And that drought, bro.
Third world war.
That drought is
No,
Third
I'm just
world
talking
war.
about the women over there.
Third world.
Yeah.
Third world war.
Yeah,
Third
no
world.
drinking, nothing.
Yeah, exactly.
that
I
VPN.
wouldn't be surprised if porn's illegal over there too. Anyways,
Yeah, it is.
Go
It
ahead.
is.
Moog.
let's see.
Anyways,
More,
so
you got
yeah,
a
so
VPN
like
for a reason, boy, huh?
You gotta get a VPN.
I got a VPN for a reason, guys. So yeah, but yeah, back to the topic. See, at least my dad mentioned that this guy is like he's fucking senile, and of course, I mean, yeah, like okay, fine, you can chalk that up to old age or whatever, or just because of the fact that Trump is a douchebag, whatever. We're not getting political. These are just facts. But with Yeezy, I'm just like, dude, like there is like Benny mentioned, like it's like a pendulum. It's like either end of the spectrum. Like his tweets are like a limit. It's like when you were doing limits like 0 to 5 or 5 to like it's just like tending towards from 0 to 5, and it's like,
Yeah.
dude, what the fuck is going on, man? I literally felt like I was doing calculus when I was reading his tweets, and I'm like,
Yeah, same. Because I couldn't
I'm like,
understand the music.
yeah, exactly. And here's how fucked up the engineers are. It's like when you start doing mathematics reading Yeezy's tweets, you're going off your rocker. You're going to finally lose your shit. So and here's the thing, I was on site when I was reading Yeezy's tweets, and I just want to give you all a perspective. Like, it's 111 degrees Fahrenheit. It's hot as it's hotter than Satan's underpants there where I am, which is essentially Kuwait. And it's hot as fuck.
Not
And
the
I'm
women.
reading
Not the women.
not the women. But
Shout out to
yeah, I
Cole.
read
Go ahead. Sorry.
their favorite color is mediocre, guys. Let's just keep that. Let's just leave it at that. So
I was
yeah.
gonna go dark. I held my tongue.
But yeah, so I read his fucking tweet, and I was just like, bro, what the fuck? And like another video of his, which like I discussed this with another friend of mine, and he's like, Harriet Tubman did not free slaves. And I was just like, bruh, you just like what?
The thing is, his expressions on that video, right? Like, it's like he wasn't even sure what he was saying. Like,
Yeah,
and that's,
exactly.
Because it was like he was like, like I don't want to use the word clown here, but like it really felt like that. Like he was like, Harriet Tubman didn't free the slaves, and it was just kind of like, okay, continue. Like, what are you leading to here?
Yeah,
Exactly. And like
it
was just strange, and I'm not trying to make fun of him, because like the thing is, like, unless you've been through some form of mania, you'll never understand. And the thing is, like, you would generally believe like everything you're saying is a fact or it's real. The thing is, and like a lot of people with mania are actually very convincing as well, because like it's like, this person's not lying to you, because they're so obsessed with the thought of what they're saying that they're not lying. So it's like they can look ridiculous if they have a public platform like Kanye. And like that's kind of the thing where it's like it's alarming in a lot of reasons, but also say he wins, right? It's like if he has a moment or an episode of mania and then he's like, oh, the only solution is to bomb the Chinese, like, that's alarming, like, and like that's what I'm saying, like, like that can't happen, and it's like it's not even that I dislike him, like I don't listen to his music in particular, right? But like the thing is, like, it's just alarming, and like I really think like if you're running for president, you need to have like a mental health assessment, because like that should not go on, like that's just It's just way too risky to have it happen. And it's like, I hate to say it, but it's like, if I had to pick between Trump or Kanye, I'd pick Trump, you know, like, just because, like, that's bigger of a possibility.
Yeah, finish your thought, Mo, or Eugene, whoever next.
Yeah, I mean, I'm mostly done. It's just like when somebody says Harriet Tubman did not free slaves, I'm just like, bro, I think I'm out of here. Like I just saw 2 seconds of that clip. When I saw that clip, I was like, okay, I'm done. I don't think I'm not going to vote. Like he just talking about Yeezy in general is just like he's gone off the deep end. Like that's it. I'm just going to leave it there. But yeah, Eugene, you do. Oh, Ivy.
Ivy, do you want to go or do you want me to go?
Yeah, I can go. I definitely think, Benny hit that definition right on the point, like about that. And it's kind of interesting. I took the MCAT a couple weeks back, and we had to learn about that. So it was pretty interesting to actually learn about that disorder, just about how bipolar. Because a lot of people think, oh, he's bipolar. He's mad now. He's sad. He's happy.
Yeah, which is not really the case.
Exactly. Yeah, but mania could be, you just have high dopamine levels. You could be like really happy, and then you also have periods of depression. So it's pretty interesting in that. But kind of going off what Amog is saying, and not to like divert the topic, but I kind of agree with Benny. Like I don't think it would be right to say that Trump has like a diagnosable like mental illness. I think he just says what he says just because he has the power. And that's just, I feel like that's who he is as a person. But I feel like Kanye, he definitely, has an issue. He has issues, and that's who he is. I mean, he's always been that way since 2004 when he got really popular when his first album came out. But that obviously doesn't take away from, his music genius. I mean, I personally, I love his music. I love just about every song he makes. And you can honestly like see it through his music, just like
well,
think about this.
Yeah, I mean, well, that's the thing, right? Like, something that if you're already in a manic state, right, and you have high levels of dopamine, creating music only exasperates that feeling of dopamine.
Exactly.
And so the thing is, it's like, I'm not saying it's because he's bipolar that he makes great music. That's not what I'm saying at all. But it's like, there's a connection there because like you're in the state where you need perfection or you need this to go the way you're at. And so like you're overcritical, but you're also finding symbolism in everything you say. So it's like you can actually see that dichotomy at work. But
yeah. So I just want to make make one small point. I'm like, hey, Brad, what's up?
Hey, Brad.
There.
How long have you guys started?
The myth.
We've been going for like 15 minutes.
A couple minutes.
Yeah, just a couple of minutes. We were talking about Yeezy's presidential campaign.
Oh, his campaign, man.
Yeah.
I've got a couple of things to say about that, if you guys don't mind. I mean, I don't know what part of the conversation you guys are on.
Yeah,
I was just going to make one point, and then I'll hand the baton to you. It's just, dude, any person who's a part of that extended god awful Kardashian family is like, I think just being in and around those clowns is enough to drive anyone off their like rocker. I mean, dude, literally, like just literally look at fucking Kim. Like, I think the only normal person, and I hate to say this, is Kendall.
Yeah.
I'll say Kim is.
Kim is?
Because at least you try to get somebody off and bail, and at least she's Kanye.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, like, I also say Kim as well, because, like, when you really think about it, like, everybody knows, like, where her popularity came from, right? The sex tape, everything like that. But, like, besides that, like, what outrageous thing has she done? Like, I mean, they have their TV show, but, like, that's in itself, it's supposed to entertain, right? And so, and the thing is, I can't really remember her being in any, like, scandal besides the tape.
Just to interrupt, she's more plastic than person. Just, she's more of a Barbie doll than an actual person. It's kind of
you remember in middle school, though, where we all had a crush on her? Like, I don't know what it was, but, like, everybody obsessed over her. And
I think it was the fame.
It was like, but then I think after that, like, she became like plastic, like you said, and it's just kind of like, no, this is not attractive anymore.
Yeah, but I guess to continue on, I mean, with Kanye, this dude's like, I don't care that I do think the reason why he's doing this is maybe a publicity stunt because he's talked about his album releasing sometime either next week or sometime like that. I don't feel bad for him. There are plenty of people out there who have, bipolar disorder, but who do not have the amount of money and influence and connections that Kanye has. And I'm blaming him because because he's been saying shit like this for the longest time. We just never have called him out enough on it. I mean, you look back at Hurricane. Hold on a second. You look back at Hurricane Katrina when he was talking about, Bush hates black people. I understand that was something that was, I get that, but you shouldn't have said that during a time of a national catastrophe like that, because that's taking the spotlight off the victims of Hurricane Katrina and putting it on yourself. There was a Taylor Swift incident that happened during the VMAs where if you look at that, like when you said Beyonce should have won, well, she won later that night if you would have kept your mouth fucking shut.
Also, he tried to do it at Ed Sheeran. It was hilarious. He tried to walk up and take the mic, and he was like, and he just walked away. It was the most hilarious thing.
Exactly. And then you have him, and then, a couple years ago, you had him saying, Trump's his daddy. And then you have him saying,
thank you, Kanye, very cool.
Yeah. You had him saying choice, and then you have him saying
the government made AIDS.
And some fact,
I mean, that's a popular theory, though.
Yeah, exactly. It's just the fact of the matter is that Kanye, he just needs to be, he needs to be stopped. Honestly, like there are.
I mean, that's the thing I was going to interrupt you with, Brad. Was that like, before we went into this topic, we were talking about, bipolar disorder in itself, and the thing is, it's because of his money, it's because of his influence that like. It could just seem like he's just trying to be controversial, but that in itself is bipolar. Like people have the
it worked for Trump.
That being bipolar is, I'm happy today, I'm sad. Like that's furthest from the truth that there ever will be. And so the thing is, it's like now that he's on a more public spotlight, everything that he does looks insane, but that's because he's mentally ill. It's like I don't really like to use the word crazy to describe those people because like while it's accurate to what they may be. Like, the thing is, like, imagine, like, waking up one day and thinking everything you say is right. And it's like, you have enough influence to actually have people believe you because, like, if you so full-heartedly believe what you're saying, nobody's going to think you're lying, right? And so, like,
people call them out, though.
Yeah, but I'm saying, like, that's the disease in itself. Like, I'm not giving him a pass at all. But what I'm saying is, like, like, it's hard for me to sit there and make fun of him because like I know, like that what he's went through. Like that's kind of like what I'm trying to say. Like it's just like I don't agree with it. I don't think he should be president. I don't think he should be a number of things, but like it's hard to really critique somebody like that. It'd be like making fun of a mentally disabled person, really.
No, I think it because look, Kanye, he's probably been bipolar for a very long time, but he's a very successful business person, and he knows what he's doing. Like it's like we can poke things. Wait.
You really don't know what you're doing.
But Benny, he's a billionaire. He has to know something to get this far in life. And once it was handed to him, he did it on his own. So he knows. I mean, granted,
but like,
I think it's a bit of his bipolarism.
But that's the thing. People's like misconception of that is completely wrong, and like that's what I'm trying to say. Like when you have mania, you can either feel like you're the king of the world, or you can think that like the world is hell. And so what I'm trying to tell you is like when, like for example, like if you have mania, right, and it's something you really care about, you're going to put your time into it if it's one of those good moments. And so, like, his success can be attributed to that solely on that. And like, like that's the thing. Like, it's a pendulum, right? And one day you wake up and you say ridiculous shit because you believe in that ridiculous shit. The other day you go to work and like you're thriving, and like it goes both ends. It's good and bad. And like that's my issue with it. It's like I'm not trying to critique you for making fun of him or anything like that, which you're not. But what I'm trying to say is like, like a lot of people don't really understand it, and like that's why I'm pushing so hard on this.
Yeah.
Also, just to point out something, Yeah, just pointing out something. Also speaking in terms of like you said, Brad, that he's a billionaire. He probably must be doing something right. Uh, Look at the other end of the spectrum. When you guys know about Van Gogh, right? I don't need to tell you. He chopped his own ear off because he got pissed off. Turns out he was also mentally ill, and he also had bipolar. But if you see some of Vincent Van Gogh's art pieces, they're some of the most famous art pieces in the world. So artists are known to be, while they have prodigious skill, his skill, like I mean, a lot of people consider
But it
Kanye
doesn't
as
make
one
them
of the
mentally
most
stable
poet.
people.
Exactly, that's exactly
Like,
what I was coming to.
An
So
example that
it's
I
not
think is
necessary.
pretty good is XXXTentacion. I like some of his music, but a lot of the shit that you hear from this guy is just downright horrifying. Like,
Yeah.
him beating his girlfriend, throwing her in the trunk. This kind of shit is revolting to hear. But he makes music that you listen to. Like, should I really support what he's doing? And I'm gonna talk about Kanye. I'm sorry to sort of cut into you, Brad, but and sort of as a disclaimer, I like his music. I've listened to a lot of it, and I think he has some pretty good stuff. However, he said controversial shit in his music. He's talked about the government coming up with AIDS in his second song in the second album. And he's even talked about the him being bipolar and saying it's a superpower in the Yay album in like the third or second song. Yeah,
I mean, because it is and
Straight
it
up
isn't.
listen to
Like
it.
that's like what I'm trying to tell people
Yeah.
is like that's the problem, right? Like the thing is like you can either you feel like you're the king of the world. In his case, it feels like a superpower. So yeah, it's a superpower because everything you do is heightened. But then if you have a bad moment, you're
fucked.
But at the same time, it's he has access to a lot of wealth and a lot of resources that he could go ahead and seek out for his health.
Exactly.
As someone who I liked a lot of his music, a lot of his older music. After My Life with Pablo, I stopped liking it. But I think he could get the help if he really wanted to. And again, part of the issue is just the people that he's with. He's with the Kardashians and the Jenners, man.
Well,
that is
Kim is trying to get him help. Like he was tweeting about it. So Kim is like his wife is trying to.
It seems like his wife is trying to help him, but the rest of the people,
he needs more people to be like her.
He needs more people to be like her, and
she's pretty supportive. Yeah, go ahead.
And it's just rough for him to sort of go through this entire thing. Like he has these episodes. I mean, again, going off of what Brad said. The thing with Taylor Swift, he's tried to do it at Ed Sheeran. He had some stupid beef with Jay-Z, and he gets into a lot of stupid shit.
Drake, he had a beef with Drake as well.
South Park, because they told him he was a gay fish, and his wife was a troll. But I'm concerned for the guy. I really do hope he gets some help or he considers it, because a lot of what he does, I don't think he should be anywhere near power. Don't get me wrong. As a producer, this guy is fantastic if you listen to some of the samples. But the way he acts and the way that people in power should be, he is the complete opposite, where these guys have to be thinking one step ahead. Kanye will be thinking that one step, and he will revert 2 steps on the good day.
Yeah,
on a bad day, a lot worse.
Yeah, just go back on you, man. Yeah, I think, again, the thing is with Kanye is it's kind of the same thing with Trump. I think both of them kind of have some type of bipolar issue. But I also think what's mainly driving this shit is their narcissism. Like their narcissism and just being very self in themselves. Like in his latest speech talking about how, my dad almost aborted me and y'all wouldn't be able to had Kanye. I'm just like, okay, man, you don't have to be like the king of the fucking world right now. And again, everything he does is just, again, I do agree with you. He does need help, because if somebody does not intervene hard in his life, if somebody doesn't grab him by his ear and say, Kanye, stop this bullshit, he's going to hurt himself or hurt somebody else. And
it's sad.
Yeah,
it's sad that the person who actually probably would have helped him a lot more, unfortunately passed away, which is his mother a couple of years ago. Yeah. I know Kim is trying to help him, but again, he might not be thinking of it as help. He might just be thinking of it as they're trying to hold him back or something else.
That's exactly the feeling that you have when you're bipolar. Actually, it's like you think like everything, and like narcissism is actually also a trait of that, where it's like you're so motivated in the sense of like, I have to do this for me, you have to do this for all these things, and it's like You know, if you think like, oh, they're trying to hold me back, it's like, no, they're actually trying to protect you, but you'll never be able to see that until you get on medication. And I'm sure he's been on medication in the past because, you know, he's not always that insane, for lack of a better term.
I think he said it
but,
that
you know.
he stops taking medication when he's writing an album and producing because it just lets him sort of focus and concentrate on it.
Yeah.
But it has some negative effects. And, you know, don't get me wrong. You know, for what he does, it might help him. But, you know, as far as, you know, because he does have children, and I'm pretty sure his children love him and look up to him. But I'm pretty sure seeing their dad one day probably flip a table and have a spastic episode, and then the next day he's just perfectly calm and apologizes to his kids, and it happens again in cycles, and it's really alarming and concerning for them. It's like, you know, is this normal? Is this what I should be doing? Yeah. And that's sort of the point that scares me.
Yeah, and I want to actually squeeze in one point really quick. So, like, just from like what we've been saying, like, what's one thing you guys noticed, like, with Kanye? And one thing I've noticed is that everything we talk about dealing with Kanye, it's about stuff he says, right? Like, if we really look into his history, we don't really, and I could be wrong, we don't really see, like, too many scandals, you know? Like, we don't see him, you know, going around messing with kids or, like, doing crazy stuff like that. Like, he only gets in trouble just because of his mouth. And I think...
He's in his actions. Again, him going on VMAs and trying to do that thing with Taylor Swift.
Yeah, but, I mean, it's not, like, that's not really a scandal, though. I mean, you got guys like R. Kelly that are going around,
pissing girls in the face.
And I think we should definitely, and you know, I could be biased. I love Kanye. I love his music. But I think we should definitely, like, he can definitely get help. You know, and I think that's definitely a way to start. But I feel like everybody just beating him down when he clearly has a disorder and he's not, like, hurting people or injuring families or destroying people like Epstein and all these guys. Like, I think we can definitely give him a break and just, you know, definitely just get him some help.
Well, but the thing is, though, like, people have said, Kanye, take a break. You know, and I said, I listed off 5 things he's done in the past. And people have said, Kanye, relax, man. What would your mom think if she saw you doing this? And he has taken a little, like, brief couple months, and maybe he was back on his medication. Maybe he wasn't. Maybe he was taking a week off social media. But then he comes back again and he does something like this again. Like, I remember the TMZ interview thing. Like, the guy explained to Kanye what was wrong with what he said, and he understood why.
But I'm saying, like, the best perspective I can give you, because it's like, it just sounds like we're making a bunch of excuses for him, which I'm not. Like, he needs to get help. But, like, the best perspective I can give anybody or views or anything like that, go to Reddit and go to the Bipolar Reddit. Read all the comments on whatever post you want to read. And then, like, read them and ask you, would a sensible person say this? Right? Just do that. And then now reflect back on Kanye. And the thing is, it's like, I'm not trying to say the fault goes back on all of them or him or anything like that, but it's like, they're just not well. And, like, that's my thing. Like, it's like, I encourage you, even now, if you want to look up on the show, like, and read something about it, it's just like, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, this is the reason I'm not being too hard on him, even though, like, he's done these things in the past. Like, it's like what Ivy said, right? It's like, you know, he hasn't really harmed anybody, at least to our extent that we know of. And it's just like, you know, he's just not mentally well. Yeah. And it's like, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, all of these behaviors we're talking about, wanting to be center of attention, thinking you're this, thinking you're that, like, that's all part of the disorder. And it's like, the thing is, like, you can look perfectly sane and then do those things and people think you're insane. But that's the disease in itself, you know? And, like, that's the thing. Like, we can agree to disagree. I'm not making excuses for him, but, like, it's, you know, like, that's the thing. Like, this is a topic that a lot of people aren't really educated on. And, like, that's the thing. That's like, I'm not trying to rip on them.
Yeah. I want to say, the people who are going to his rallies and actually supporting him, that's not helping him. Like believing everything he says and hanging on every single word he's telling you guys is not helping him. And just one clear thing about the whole Harriet Tubman thing. If he wanted to say something like the fact of the matter was, hey, look, Black people were freed back in 1865 once the Civil War ended, and we truly didn't get our true rights to vote until 1965, until the Voting Rights Act was passed, then yeah, okay, cool. Don't bring up Harriet Tubman and say she didn't do shit. Because you're basically saying, because she was free when she got up to the North. She didn't have to go back and free the slaves. She could have lived the rest of her life in freedom with no trouble at all. But she took a risk, and she knew if she was caught, it's not going to be a simple shot in the head, you're dead. It's going to be, we're going to parade your body around town, beat the shit out you, so other slaves will know how to do the same thing that you're doing right now. Don't bring up Harriet Tubman. I don't know why the fuck he decided to bring her up. Maybe because he was just, again, he was just saying some shit. Don't bring her up. I was going to say something like that because I feel like people, I understand what he's doing. Yes, it's crazy, but please, saying shit like that is going to fuel a lot of these racist people to say, yeah, Harry Tubman didn't do shit. Please don't.
Yeah, basically it just provides and as it is with the with the entire BLM movement, it's already in like the full swing with this entire thing, and like Kanye being a black man himself coming and attacking a cultural icon as General Harriet Tubman. She was General Harriet Tubman. So you just attack someone like that. It's unacceptable. And then like you said, Brad, it's just like it just gives enough people from the alt right and the far right. It just gives them the kind of cannon fodder, so to speak, to blow this stuff out of proportions.
Yeah.
But I think we are good on this topic. So let's move forward. Unless anybody else has any other thoughts. Does anybody have any thoughts on this?
No, I believe I'm good.
I think
No, I'm good. Yeah. So I think we should lead into